welcome back to the podcast. This week, dealing with the narcissist in your bed. Or is it in your head? Oh,
good question. Good question.
This is going to be a good one.
We're just these guys, you know. We got Pastor Mike on the mic.
We got Dr. Parker.
Let's get to it.
In the house.
There was something you wanted to talk about first. What is you want to talk about?
I can't contain my... I'm so excited. And I just can't hide it. All right, for all you folks out there who don't like football, we're very sorry. We'll see you in about, 6 months, 7 months?
Going into hibernation.
There is a football game this Thursday, this Friday, this Saturday, this Sunday. It's on, baby. Football is back.
And who plays August 9th? You don't know?
I don't know.
It's Bug Steelers.
Who are they playing?
I don't know. They're just gonna...
It doesn't matter, does it?
Doesn't matter.
The Steelers are on. Well...
And that reminds me, shout out to Steeler Nation Australia. A guy out there does a great podcast. That's where I get my news.
Really?
I listen to him.
Hey guys, welcome back to Steelers Nation.
I don't go to Pittsburgh News. I go to
From an Australian Pittsburgh podcast.
Steeler Nation Australia.
Very cool. So we have officially hit the season where there is a football game on every single Sunday all the way through February. It's going to be good.
And who are you? One, who are you rooting for? Two, who are you predicting?
Well, so last year, if you recall, I predicted that the Detroit Lions were going to be in the Super Bowl against the Chiefs.
Yep.
So I got half of it right, and the Lions were only one game away.
Yep. You were.
And so I'm once again, I'm predicting Chiefs Lions Super Bowl. I'm just going to make that the call right there.
Okay.
I really do like the Lions coaching staff. I like the head coach, especially Campbell. I like the players. I like where they've come from. I think Detroit has earned the right to have a good team. It's been a long time. I think about Barry from right here in Wichita, the years that he gave so much to that organization, being just an amazing. Think about if he would have been in today's era, he'd have been out of there.
Right.
Yeah, they would have traded or something would have happened. So I'm excited. Good stuff.
Well, as always, I'm true and faithful. Who am I predicting be in the Super Bowl?
Well, we know the Steelers are being predicted to be there.
And the other team don't matter because they're going to lose.
It don't really matter. Well,
Really
so
matter.
that just means it's not the Chiefs.
I don't even watch that half of the TV.
Yeah.
There's a half with black and gold on it. There's another half I don't even know.
I would be all for a Steelers Lions Super Bowl. That'd be good. That'd be good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, so this isn't just about us, you know.
It's not like we're narcissists
Exactly.
or something.
Exactly. So tell us what you're thinking about with this subject, because I'm so focused on me that.
Well, I hear.
Now, how do you know if you're a narcissist?
Well, there's a criteria.
Okay.
And the interesting thing is our society, our culture has become fixated on mental health labels, and you hear people labeling other people all the time. And it has the effect of diminishing another person or insulting another person, discounting, invalidating them when you say, oh, well, you know, they got bipolar. Well, you just invalidate everything about them. You label them, and now you no longer look at them as a person. You look at them as a mentally ill patient of some kind. And so what they have to say or don't say,
Yeah.
you know, what their history was, what they've gone through, what they're experiencing right now is irrelevant because you've labeled them as something.
Ooh, that's really good. Yeah, everything's filtered through that label.
Yeah.
I have to admit that there was a gentleman who used to come around quite often, and he was diagnosed with schizophrenia. And so literally everything that he would say, you would filter it through, oh, that's the schizophrenia. Or everything that he would do, you would think that's, and he's so much more than that.
Yeah.
Well, so
I hear that a lot with narcissists, not just lately, but with the work that I do in terms of the child custody work and the angry parents, kind of fighting against each other for various things in court. These labels get thrown around, and then once you throw that label out there, two things happen. One is everybody judges the person through the label.
Mm-hmm.
And then secondly, the other person is put on the defensive and they have to defend against not being the label.
Gotcha.
And it's really hard to disprove the null. You're thinking about elephants right now. No, I'm not. Yes, you are. You can't prove you're not thinking about elephants.
Right.
And so a lot of times with narcissism, people throw that label out there to challenge or invalidate the other person's motivation. And so you can't be pursuing a goal because it's a desirable goal for you that you've strived for your whole life. When I call you a narcissist, you're a selfish bastard who doesn't care about anybody else, and you're doing everything that you want to do without thinking about anybody else. And now, how do you disprove that?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I've seen, people who've worked for years towards a particular goal, and then somebody come along and want them to change their lives for them. But I've been working on this for 20 years. I'm almost there. Like, well, that's because you don't care about me. What do you mean? Oh, I do care about you. No, you're just a narcissist. You only care about yourself. And that creates such a huge rift in the relationship that when we use these labels, especially when we use them and we don't even know what they mean. Some people will say, oh, narcissist, that means selfishness. No, that is not what it means. And that is not, necessarily who the narcissist is. It's a very difficult personality disorder that, estimates are 0.5%, maybe all the way up to 5% of people in the U.S. would qualify for the diagnosis of narcissistic personality disorder. So if you've used that label more than once in your life, then you're over-labeling people because there's not that many people out there. Oh, he's a narcissist. Oh, she's a narcissist. Oh, he's a narcissist. Well, you're shifting the blame to other people. You're discounting what they have to think. You're invalidating their personality, their goals, their desires, their dreams. And you're not dealing with any kind of issues. And I almost said the closing kind of argument there in the beginning. I want to save that.
Okay.
But this is a narcissistic personality disorder diagnostic criteria. And so you have to have at least 5 of these, but not necessarily all of these. And this must be a pervasive pattern over the course of your lifetime, not just one day, but 5 of these all the time over the course of your lifetime.
Okay, so before you go there, I can think of about 10 people who are narcissists. And so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to make sure that all of these fit all of those people.
Okay. And I'll give you... I'll give you 2 alternatives.
I've overlabeled for sure. So this is good. This is really good for me to...
So... at least 5 of these criteria: narcissistic personality disorder over the lifetime, 20, 30 years, not just,
not a season,
not last night.
Right. Right.
But a grandiose sense of self-importance. This is usually kind of seen by exaggerating achievements and talents.
An overinflated sense of self-worth.
Expects to be recognized as superior without the commiserate successes.
Okay.
So, I played the guitar this morning. I'm the greatest guitar player ever. Mm-hmm. Well, that's not true. And why don't you think I'm a great guitar player? Because my skill level is not commiserate with being a great guitar player. So if I were coming at you like that, that's a sign of, so I exaggerate my achievements my talents. I took one class and now I think I'm, an expert in something.
Mm-hmm.
Preoccupation with fantasies of unlimited success or power or brilliance or beauty or ideal love. They're constantly thinking about, the brass ring. I'm going to make $1 million next week. I'm going to be a billionaire. Me and Elon Musk are going to hang out together. I'm the most beautiful person around. Everybody loves me. Everybody's jealous of me. They're preoccupied with this all the time. Again, it's not just a one-shot event.
Yeah. It's an all day, every day deal.
Believing that they are special and unique and can only be understood or associate with people of special or higher status. So you're beneath me. I don't want to talk to you because I'm special and you're not. So
is it possible for my almost 3-year-old granddaughter to be a narcissist? Because the world does seem to more and more evolve around her.
Well, and we'll
and it's our fault.
No, we'll talk about some of this in a second. A sense of entitlement, unreasonable expectations of especially favorable treatment or automatic compliance with their expectations. So a narcissist would walk into your church and just expect that everybody would run up and greet them and escort them to the front row and go get them a coffee and bring it to them. We don't know who the person is. That's what they walk in the door expecting, that everybody here is going to love me. They're going to be so thankful I've joined their church and I've got so,
That's interesting because I don't know that I've ever seen that. That's how rare this is.
Requiring excessive admiration. Excessive admiration. It's not just, hey, that was a good job, but, oh, that was the best job ever. Let me call my mother and tell her how wonderful you are. Excessive admiration over and over and over and over. They can never get enough.
So real quickly, do you find that a lot of times, or I don't know, that there are times at least where these people may actually end up being elevated in, maybe higher positions in companies or whatnot, just based on their confidence early on before you really know them. And then all of a sudden their positions are being abused, like out of control leadership, where it's like, you're going to worship me because of who I am.
Next criteria. Being interpersonally exploitive. They exploit other people for their own gains. They take advantage of others for their own personal, whatever they're after. If they want more money, if they want you to give stuff over to them, if they want you to work for them, if they want you to do stuff for them, they exploit other people for their own personal gain. So yes, they do tend to elevate into positions of power and authority because they see themselves there. They think that's where they belong. They just hired me last week, but this management here is stupid. They're running everything all wrong here. I need to be the manager here. What classes did you take in management? Well, I haven't taken any classes in management. Who needs a class in management? That's how you learn not to be a manager. That's why this place is run so horrible. I know what to do.
Yeah.
And they will elevate and work their way into the company, into these positions of leaderships, because that's where they think they belong. And then they're going to turn around and exploit the workers, exploit everybody for their own personal success and gain. They lack empathy. They're unwilling to recognize or identify with the feelings and needs of other people. There's nothing about another person that they can understand or identify with. They don't empathize with other people. They can't.
Yeah.
It's not that they don't, it's they can't. They just don't have that capacity in them.
It's literally impossible for them.
Often envious of other people or believing that other people are envious of them.
I could use a little bit of this narcissism. A little bit of confidence that.
So
I say that.
They go to the car show with their car and they're comparing their car to everybody else. That's kind of a normal we're comparing. But if I just pull into a parking lot and I'm looking at everybody else's car, like, look at them. They all got these nice cars. I got this old crappy car. Or vice versa. I pull up, everybody's looking at me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, look at that. I got my 2002 Toyota Corolla. Everybody's wishing they had the car that I had.
Mm-hmm.
And showing arrogant, haughty behaviors or attitudes. So they're dismissive of other people. They look down their nose at other people that aren't as special as them, that don't have the capacity to give something to them, what they need. I ran into this once with, I'm not going to say the person's name, but I met him. I was seeking, this was 25 years ago. I was seeking a part-time gig doing something to make a little extra money on the side, and talked to him, and he brought me in, showed me his kingdom that he was building, all these different businesses and stuff. And we were talking about how we could partner up with stuff. And I went back to the company I was working at the time, and they said, yeah, no. You know, if you want to do that other kind of work, you're free to after you leave here. But while you work here, we can't have this company associated with that kind of work. So you have to choose. Mm-hmm. And so I called him up and said, yeah, the company has said that, you know, per our contract, it's kind of brushes up to kind of a non-compete thing. And I can't be doing that over there and doing this over here. And he's like, oh, okay, click. Well, that was, maybe he had somebody with him. Maybe he needed to go. So a couple of weeks later, I called him up and said, hey, there's this luncheon. They're doing a conference, a luncheon. And I was going to be in that part of town. Wonder if you wanted to go with me. You know what he said to me? How sweet. No. Click. It was so off-putting. I felt like, you know, he had put on such a show in the beginning when I could work for him and bring him money. But the moment he realized I wasn't going to be able to work for him and bring him any money, nothing to do with me. Didn't want to associate with me. Didn't want to talk to me. Didn't want to go to lunch with me.
Well, that's boundaries. He had good boundaries.
And that's where the question needs to come in for people is being honest with themselves and being honest with the situation. When you're dealing with somebody else, are they truly a narcissist? Mm-hmm. Or are they self-confident? Do they have boundaries?
Sure.
Are they self-assured? And you're just not getting what you want.
Mm. That's the question of, you know, dealing with a narcissist in your bed.
Right.
You know, are you in a relationship with someone that you have labeled a narcissist, and maybe the issues are more your issues? Mm-hmm. See, this is opposite of where I thought we were going to go with this.
And you came up with the title.
Yeah. Yeah. But everybody always talks about and blames the narcissist.
Right.
Oh, he's got to be narcissist. Well, maybe they're not. And maybe you need to do some internal reflection on exactly what you're wanting and what you're not getting and what you're dealing with. And yeah, maybe that person just needs a good, honest conversation.
And this is the deal with a true narcissist. And as a psychologist who's done intense work, not just rich, depressed ladies, but criminals, murderers, divorces, child custody battles, the nightmare scenarios most people are going through, that's where I get in and do work. I could probably say I've seen 5 legitimate narcissists. And so if I've only seen 5 legitimate narcissists, how is it you have 5 in your life?
Right now.
Right now.
Yeah.
And so that's really, when somebody says, oh, my wife or my husband's a narcissist, my radar immediately turns to them. But what is going on for them that is causing them to label somebody else such a horrendously nightmarish personality disorder? Because here's the deal. If you are in a relationship with a narcissist, get out. It will not change. There's nothing about them that you can change. You cannot change. It's a personality disorder.
Yeah.
These things are entrenched. They are lifelong. They can learn to operate within the bounds of society if they're highly motivated and if they have years to work on it and you got the right therapist. But no, they're not changing. Mm-hmm. And there's certainly nothing you can do to change them. You can't please them. You can't make them happy. You can't ever win an argument. You will never win an argument. That is the purpose of them. This is the deal when you're in a relationship with a true narcissist, you're playing checkers and they're playing chess. Your idea of a relationship that we get in this to support each other, to share with each other, to give and take. I help you. Sometimes you'll help me. But, if the trash needs to be carried out, I just carry it out. It's no big deal. A narcissist is in a relationship to elevate themselves to a higher standard. And that's why they're in the relationship, is they need you so they can feel good about themselves. By themselves, they don't have anybody really to compare themselves to. So they need another person in their lives that is lower than them. And so there will always be this, it's called leveling. Like, for example, you play the guitar and I was very jealous of your ability to play the guitar.
Of course you were.
So on a skill level, your ability to play the guitar is up here. My ability to play the guitar is down here.
It's actually a little higher than that.
A little higher than that. So what do? I try to bring myself up to your level.
Gotcha.
What narcissists do is if they ever sense you're at a level above them or even on the same plane with them,
they bring you down.
They have to bring you down. There's nothing wrong with them.
Right.
So they have to bring you down so they feel better. So they're constantly looking to put the other person down. They're constantly criticizing the other person. They're constantly telling them they're wrong. They did this wrong. They should have done it that way. Shouldn't have done it that way. Questioning, why did you do that? What was that about? Everything you do is wrong. Nothing you do is right. And because they're playing this game and you're trying to play this game, you think, oh, I must have done something.
Yeah, they've got you convinced. Especially after years.
And that's called, a lot of times, gaslighting. They're making you think you're the one wrong in the relationship, when the reality is you're just living a normal life, a normal relationship. You made the peanut butter and jelly sandwich for them that day because you thought you were being helpful. They thought you were trying to kill them because they might have a peanut allergy. Why would you make peanut butter and jelly sandwiches all of a sudden out of the blue? You always make ham and cheese. Now you're making peanut butter and jelly. What the hell's wrong with you? Do you think I might have a peanut allergy? Oh my God, you're so stupid. It doesn't matter what the situation is. The issue is never the issue. The issue is never the issue. The operating dynamic in a relationship with a narcissist is they always have to feel better than you. And that can never happen. I mean, for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, but then the next day, you can never please them. You can never be perfect enough. They will always twist everything around back to be your fault. And so if you are in a relationship, if these criteria that I've read off are legitimately applicable to a person you're with, that for 20 years, 10 years, 5 years, these are the patterns you have seen, then they might be a narcissist or have strong narcissistic traits. Your choice is to live with it, or to leave, because that will not change.
Yeah. You got to choose your hard. It's going to continue to be hard to stay. It's going to be hard to leave, but you choose your hard. And then you end up where you got to decide what you want. Do you want that life that has some peace? You want some life that has some freedom? You decide. Wow. Okay. Well.
And the other thing that you kind of figured out that's at play here is, are they really narcissistic or are they selfish? I mean,
sure,
people can be selfish.
Yeah.
That's a good word. It's legitimate. They can be selfish. No, kids. Mine.
Oh yeah.
Mine.
We all are there. Not all of us grow out of it.
Right. And we all have, to some degree or another, a little bit of selfishness about ourselves at times. And when that's happening, it's important to call that out.
Mm-hmm. Now, do you find that more only children end up being narcissists or just selfish? That the narcissism is actually, like you said, it's a mental disorder.
Well, and again, mental disorders, I don't want to ruffle any feathers. They're not necessarily biological. When I make a diagnosis, I'm not doing lab tests on blood. I'm not doing x-rays of the brain. It's a collection of behaviors that we are putting a label to as kind of a shorthand. Mm-hmm. Instead of reading out all 5 of the symptoms they meet every single time, I just say narcissist, and everybody knows what I'm talking about. So that's the problem when it comes to insulting somebody and you call them a narcissist, because then other people or even themselves, they pull those 5 labels up. Mm-hmm. And that's what they see in their head, and that's what they apply to the other person. And you're now fighting against a label, not an actual issue that's going on in front of you. And so how a person becomes a narcissist, there's a lot of theories and formulas about how that happens. But at the end of the day, if the person is narcissistic, it's not going to change. I mean, it's a lot of tragedy and trauma that usually leads to it, and that's sad, but they came out of it this way. And so if you are in a relationship, if you truly believe you're in a relationship with a narcissist, leave. You're not changing them. You can't change them. I can't change them. And so the alternative, though, when you're throwing that label around is, are you being selfish? Are you dissatisfied? You're not getting what you want when you want it.
Sure.
Are you feeling insecure because you've been making mistakes and you got called out on it? Mm-hmm. And to get the heat off of you, you throw it back at them. You dismiss them and their concerns by blaming them. And that narcissism, this is the part I was holding till the end. What narcissists do is they play a lot of games with people's brains. And so narcissists, one of their tactics is to blame the other person for things they're doing. And it gets the other people on their back feet. And so when somebody calls somebody else a narcissist, my radar looks at them. Why would you choose that term? Why are you calling them that? Why is that the label you've settled on? And quite often, there's something about them that they're not feeling like they're being treated special enough. They're not feeling like people are paying enough attention to them. They want everything their way all the time. Even if they change their mind, that's okay. Forget what I said yesterday. Here's what I say today. Go with it. And if anybody challenges any of that, they call them the narcissist to put them on the defensive. And this is part of that whole gaslighting where they're making you feel like you're the crazy one.
Mm-hmm. It's almost like deflection in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, the narcissist in your bed may very well be the narcissist in your head.
Think about it.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's good stuff,
Change
Doc.
how you think.
Thank you very much. More stuff to think about this week.
Thank you guys for tuning in to Just These Guys,
It's a good day to have a good day, Doc. I'm amazed. Again, I've had 3 miracles take place in my life. 2 sermons on last Sunday, and this morning I didn't cough one single time.
Boom.
And I came in coughing my head off.
You did.
So thank you, Lord, for holding the cough back.
We'll catch you guys next week.
Have an awesome week.